Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here with Aenimus in the great city of Toronto. How are you guys doing?
Awesome,
Great,
man.
Fucking good.
You guys want to introduce yourselves to the viewers at home?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Seth Stone.
I'm Alex Green. I do yelling.
Jordan Rush. I play guitar. Mostly.
Yeah, I play bass, do some singing, and some yelling.
Not a baby.
How's the tour going so far, guys?
It's been incredible.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Every night we play to like a very excited, very packed crowd, and that's all I could ask for. It's incredible.
That and just like the overall energy and vibe between the tour package is just meshing super well.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting along, having a good time, and that's super important to keep the morale up on a tour. So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the band has had a few lineup changes leading up to this point. Do you guys feel like right now you guys are at your strongest with the guys you have together in the band?
Being the person who in the band, so Sean was in that beginning process too, but that's here. Yeah, I definitely feel like right now we're the strongest that this band has ever been. We have a lot going for us right now, and a lot of great opportunities have been given to us by some amazing people within the industry. So yeah, definitely. That and the writing too. Like I love Transcend Reality, but Dreamcatcher just I feel like we took it to the next level. We transcended, no pun intended. So
Yeah.
And that was going to lead me into the next question. Dreamcatcher, really cool concept, but I want you guys to talk a little bit about the concept behind the album.
There's many layers behind it, but essentially, what we initially started off with was just the idea of, writing a conceptual album based around some of Sean and my favorite horror novels or movies. But at the same time, we wanted to be able to keep the lyrics, like if you knew about some of the films and the novels, you'd catch the references, but if you weren't aware, you could still relate to the lyrical content. I wanted there to be an underlying theme that everyone could deal with, like their fears and overcoming adversity and stuff like that, while still maintaining some of the story. For me, particularly it. So yeah, it was kind of like that, like having a multi-dimensional, conceptually done album.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, especially lyrics-wise, I feel like we did it to a point, like you were saying, where it connects to like the stories we're writing about, but they're vague enough to where anyone can find their own meaning that means something to them. Like for me, it might mean like the lyrics might mean some totally different than what the other members in the band feel, but I hope that can like pretty much translate to like how the crowd that like watches us or listens to us like feels as well. Like this because it's mainly like the name Dreamcatcher, like it's like it encapsulates fucking nightmares. So it's just like use all this negative stuff that's going on in your life and like let that make you into who you are. Like define yourself through the struggles you've been through.
That was kind of a cool little like I don't know if you'd want to call it Easter egg, but using the title Dreamcatcher, I mean it's a book, a Stephen King book, a horror novel, but also the idea of what a dreamcatcher is, like it takes all your nightmares and keeps them in there. So I was like looking at the CD as in like a literal dream catcher, so kind of had a double meaning for that as well.
When you came up with the concept, did you guys think of did you create the music and then incorporated the lyrics, or were the two kind of done simultaneously?
It was more so like I guess kind of back and forth, really.
So mostly music first, though.
Yeah. Sean tackled a majority of the lyrics. I only did 2, but it was mostly getting the music down and having it dynamic and trying to capture different feelings and vibes. I mean, we knew about the concept before we wrote the music, so we were consciously kind of thinking about that, but at the same time, just letting it flow out organically as well. So.
Yeah, and we had, like you said, we had the concept. So like, what we did first and foremost, at least I know me and Sean did this, is kind of even before we started writing anything, was we went back and reread the books or listened to the novels on audio tape and watched the movies to just really dive in and learn how these characters were feeling and throughout the stories, and that way we could accurately portray them musically too. While we're writing, when I wrote Caretaker, I literally started first with like a short outline of how Jack, the dad in the story, felt throughout that whole story. And then I tried to portray each different section based off of his emotions, and it created a really diverse song, and
A really heavy song.
really heavy song too, because I mean, let's face it, he went freaking insane. So and it ended with a bang. But yeah, so I think it was challenging doing that, but it was really rewarding at the same time. Some people don't understand, like they're like, well, these songs seem to be like so up and down and all that stuff, and I think that's
So diverse.
so diverse, and it's because they don't understand, like, well, these characters aren't just feeling one emotion throughout these stories. They are going ups and downs and have climaxes, and trying to portray that was difficult but really fun when I was writing that song. So
You guys had a lot of guests on the record. Was that done because you guys like the dudes and you want them on your record, or was that done in order to enhance the storytelling aspect of the album?
I feel like it was a bit of both, honestly.
Sure. I mean, it helped that we knew a lot of them, and honestly, for me, it was like, these guys are super talented. We want them to be a part of the record, to see what they could bring. I remember specifically thinking there was a solo section, and I was like, I could write something cool, but I'd really like to hear what, Sims or Brian could do. Yeah. And I really think that they, just getting their perspective on their take on what they would play over it, really helped me as a player. Like, even the story aside and everything, from a musical's perspective, I was just like, wow, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And that, and like, I feel like, at least for like My Becoming, like, when we wrote that song, we just really felt that, like, Mike Semeski could be, like, the perfect guest vocalist for this spot. Like, it was like, this is his style. Like, what he would sing over,
That is Mike.
And so, and he was already working with Sean and I on the vocals for the album. Not a lot of people know this, but, like, he was the person who actually wrote the melody for Between Iron and Silver's chorus. That was Mike Semeski. He randomly just, like, hummed it out on an audio for us, and we were like, that's it.
I don't even think I knew that.
Yeah. And so, like, having him on My Becoming just made total sense. And then, like, we did that tour with I Declare War, and we had just written Caretaker, and we knew we wanted a vocalist over that end breakdown, and it was just like, dude,
it was perfect.
We have to get Jamie for this, you know, like.
And as far for me, like Jamie Hanks, like, from I Declare War, he's one of the vocal, like, I grew up on the deathcore heavy shit, like heavy, like, beat down, meaty, just fucking heavy. Mm-hmm. But like, so Jamie was always one of those vocalists I always looked up to.
Right.
Like, so being able to just, like, even be on the same track as him was an honor, and he just absolutely killed that part too. Like,
it's pretty brutal.
So looking forward now, considering how successful these guest appearances were, let me ask you this. Is there anybody out there that you haven't worked with that you absolutely would give a testicle to work with on the next record?
I got two, and they're full of pee.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Is this like a Living or Dead kind of thing, or like potential reality?
No, potential reality.
Okay, because if it was Living or Dead, it'd be Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
but
dude, absolutely.
That's obviously not possible. So I'll have to get back to you.
I mean, you were probably gonna say this, but, like, based on the fact that we incorporated so many synths, like, if we could partner up with Gunship for one song.
If you're watching this, Gunship, please, anything, even one note, that would be amazing. I don't know if you're familiar with Gunship, but they're like an 80s synthwave band. Some of the most beautiful, catchy hooks, but their music is so, it's so layered and thick, like the wall of sound.
It sounds like it was influenced by metal at some points too, like.
I mean,
you can hear that in some of their,
it's got
some
its
of their
own
playing.
breakdowns.
Yeah.
And, like,
It's really sick.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of amazing musicians. Like, as far as, like, the more, like, cleaner side of things, more progressive look, would be like Dustin Kensher of Thrice. Like he's been like one of my biggest influences like ever vocally, and like that'd be so sick to work on, you know, a part with him.
I do have, as far as like,
That
that was not English or French or anything. But just thinking about his playing, and I know Periphery's done it, but Guthrie Govan, he is like the best guitar player ever, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah.
So him, if possible.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So you guys currently on tour, for those that don't know, with Flesh God, Apocalypse, and Hypocrisy. What's next for Aenimus once this tour is over?
Whatever the label tells us.
Yeah. So right now we're kind of like we're new to the bigger realm of things. So our mindset is kind of going in like our team. We're putting a lot of trust in them. They know what they're doing. So if they're telling us that, hey, this is a really great opportunity, you should do this, we're gonna do it. So right now, I know our agent is working away on tours for us and keeping us heavily submitted for things. We don't have anything completely locked in that we can just say that we're gonna be doing, but there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and our goal with the new album being out is just to tour, with tours that make sense for us and musically and
no headlining gigs.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the coolest thing about this tour is the fact that a majority of people there have no idea who we are. And, you know, that's what you want to do, is especially a small-time band like us, is, you know, expose our music to potential fans.
Yeah, people that wouldn't normally listen to us.
Right.
Give us a shot at all.
That's the goal, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Have one last question for you, Seth, but you guys can chime in. Being the bass player on the band, is it true that the bass player gets all the chicks?
Where did you hear that?
It's so true. As a bass player for the band, I can say it's absolutely true.
This guy gets all the chicks. Let me tell you.
I thought it was always the vocalist. Nobody, literally, man, woman, or child, does not talk to
I
me.
literally have a friend who's a female who like just despises bass players for some reason.
Got a chip
She's
on her
like hella
shoulder.
cool, but like she'll like see a cool guy. He's really nice. He's attractive. He's a bass player, and she'll just.
Things have changed since my dad used to do music. It was always the vocalist, I thought.
It still is.
Who are we kidding?
All right, guys, this was a blast. Thank you very much for your time. Best
you,
of luck
man.
with this tour. And for
you.
those watching at home, I'm going to be putting the tour dates on the description of the video. So catch these guys on the road with Flesh God, Apocalypse, and Hypocrisy.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, and thank you.
Appreciate you, Pedro.